Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll
Got
be
it.
here listening.
Got it.
Yeah?
I've been thinking about shaving all the hair on the face, seeing what I look like.
Yeah, you should do it. Mix it up.
I haven't done that in years now.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
You should do it. Yeah, you should absolutely do it.
I wonder what I would look like. I wonder how fat I would look.
I think you'd look the same, but with no facial hair, if I had to guess.
I think you're a fucking tardo. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, episode number
260.
260, and that's what I said. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined, as always, by Tiny Tanner.
Yo.
How's life, buddy?
Good. If you guys hear the fan in the background, I don't care. It's 105 today. My AC is blasting, and I have my fan on high, so...
Your mic sounds fine.
If you hear it, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I don't care, so...
Oh, yeah, I'm not sorry. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my fan's, of course, always on high, but
Yeah.
it is also right now, and if you hear it, you should apologize to me that I have to live in the hell that I live in many ways, I should say.
Yeah, what is it today?
It's 100 degrees right now, according to my computer.
It's 102 right now. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Hey, love that. With fucking 90% humidity. Southern California, by the way. Not Florida, by the way.
Yeah, what is the humidity here, actually?
Why is it this humid here, by the way? Coastal state, by the way.
32%.
I guess coastal doesn't matter, but anyway. Welcome to the show. Today, Tanner and I are doing an episode of the broadcast. And it's going to be Q&A. So first of all, if you're new, we have timestamps. You can skip to whatever you want. Second of all, if you're new and you're looking at the title and it says a Call of Duty podcast, we're going to answer questions from our community today. Some of them will be read in the voice of a man who's 30 and whose voice cracks regularly. Some of them will be about Call of Duty, and some of them won't be. So if you're all about the COD content, there's your disclaimer, okay? There's your fair warning. Now, before we get into the questions, I would like to say we've done an overhaul of the Patreon, patreon.com/thedropshot, which is, of course, the best way to support the show. We've gotten a lot of new patrons in the past 3 weeks since we announced this overhaul, which I'm very pleased with. And this is it's a bit better of a reception than I've expected. And we have officially done the overhaul. The Patreon website reflects all of the details correctly and accurately. And we finally released our first ever early access ad-free public episode
We have.
of the podcast. For the first time ever, it's been done. And that went out early and without ads and to every single patron who supports us at patreon.com/thedropshot, which is the best way to support the show. Now, Tanner and I were a little worried about getting these out early, getting them out day of. But we were like, you know what? We're going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
And Tanner, how would you describe the process of getting that episode out as early as we did? Because that sucker was live for our patrons on Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
sure was. Yeah.
Normally, it's out at Friday at a time, Pacific time.
Sometime.
At a time. But this time, it was a whole ass, almost 24 hours, probably 20 hours early. What were your thoughts on getting that thing out there?
Oh, it was
How did that
easy. Yeah. Yeah. Since we render them, it's audio only. There's no video. That saves a ton of time. That saves the most time. Not that it's like editing and shit. It's you have to wait for the video to render, which could take, depends on how long the episode is, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes or so. The audio shit, we just clip the end off, the beginning, the end, render that sucker audio only. It takes like 6 minutes, and then send it over to Raz, and he schedules it on Patreon for like, you know, if I send it to him at like 1:30 or whatever, he's just schedule it to go out at 2 or something like that. So I think that's how we're going to do it going forward. You'll hear it again with this one today and every public episode going forward. So, yeah. Really easy.
Yeah, it was extremely easy and painless and simple to do. And I'm very glad about that.
Yeah.
And we got some good reception on Patreon. People were
right
excited
away.
that we did the thing we said we were going to do for 3 weeks. I don't know if I should be happy about that or insulted. Like, holy shit, you guys actually put a podcast up early. Like, hey, man, it's not that hard. And we said we were going to. Stop being this excited about it, okay?
People right away in Discord were like, holy shit, the episode's already up. Damn, this is nice. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, it sure is. So anyway, if you want to get in on that, if you're tired of ads, if you're tired of waiting, and if you're tired of having a healthy savings account, patreon.com/thedropshot. As little as $5 a month, you get bonus eps, you get ad-free and early access episodes, and it is the best way to support the show. With that said, I don't think we have any other announcements, really. I think Tanner's going to be out of town next week. We will figure something out, and you guys don't need to worry about it, but next week is going to be special. I think it's next week. It's either next week or like the 16th. I don't remember. Which is it?
Next week.
Okay, yeah. So next week's going to be Diffie. We're going to be moving Diffie next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And with that said, Tanner, anything else we should mention before we dive in here?
No.
All right. So now we're answering questions. If you guys wanted to ask us a question, you could do that.
You could.
Join the Discord. It is linked wherever. And you can go to thedropshot.com and find links to everything there. And then we have a section of the Discord called Q&A questions. And then you can type a question there. You don't have to be a patron or anything to do that. And then we may or may not answer your question on our periodic Q&A episodes, such as the one we're doing right this moment.
Right this goddamn second, huh?
Indeed. So, today, starting with M the King, change it. He asked this question on May 20th of 2022, the year of our Lord Jesus.
That's 2021, man. It's an old one. Just kidding. You look scared for a second, man. Do you think we were a year behind?
No, I'm confused. I literally read I was about to say 2022. I don't understand the joke.
I was saying we're a year and a half behind on the questions because we're so far behind.
What do you think of an item, say a certain building that spawns in random locations in a BR? Let's assume he means Warzone. That if held long enough resulted in the circle to move exactly in the middle of where that location is. And then he describes what he means by that, which isn't necessary. If a team holds that building for a certain amount of time, it makes the circle move to wherever they are. The drawback to this would be that every person in the game would know exactly where the building is once it's trying to be held. Also, if the team gets wiped and another team tries to do it, they might not have enough time and would have to bail on the building and go to the original circle. Interesting idea. What are your thoughts, Tanner?
I don't know how you even thought of something like this, honestly. This has never been done in a game. I don't know how this came to your head. That's an interesting thought you had. It's
funny you say that.
I don't think it would play well. I feel like if there was something that could drag the circle, one, it either just wouldn't matter, or two, the whole lobby is going to land there and I'll fight over it just to like drag the circle that direction. And it's like, what's the reasoning for that? Besides just having it pull towards you in that direction, why, like, past that, why does it really matter or affect how the game's going to play out? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to make any sort of sense at all to me.
Yeah. I kind of agree. So to start, I will say, yeah, that it's funny that Tanner said that, because my first thought was like, we need someone like this at Raven.
Well, this is Ted. This is what Ted does with all of his ideas. That's why we have all of his ideas in the game.
This is a better idea than anything Ted has ever fucking done to Warzone since Caldera came out. So let's be clear about that. I would take this. This is not an idea that should be implemented in the game, but it's better than hero villain tokens. Better than not being able to hear people. Better than a lot of things that have been added since Caldera came into existence. So let's start there. Yeah, my first thought was like, this is not a good idea, but this is something you would want someone on your team to be bringing up anyway, because you start thinking of other ideas off of it. And that's what Tanner and I will do too, actually, is if we need to, like, I don't know, think of doing something or solving some problem or creating something, I will just throw out ideas that come to my head, even if I know they're dog shit ideas. And I'll tell Tanner to do the same. He'll be like, well, and they'll be like, no. I'm like, wait, just say it anyway. I know it's not going to be like a good idea, but maybe it'll make us think of a good idea.
Gets you spitballing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just throw shit out there and it's like, well, no, but that kind of reminds me of this other thing, and then eventually you find something. So that's my first thought. This particular idea, yeah, it could use some more back and forth.
Yeah.
It could use some more back and forth. So my problem mainly is that Warzone is already so divorced from like a regular BR.
Yeah.
And this would be even more doing that. So imagine you are like you're trying to like play Warzone like a BR. So you're like taking inventory of where the circle is, where you expect it to go, POIs and buildings that are within the circle, buy stations that are within the circle, how far you are away from the circle so that you give yourself enough time to get in based on where you are. And then all of a sudden the circle's just gone. That's not, especially on a map like Caldera, like you don't have a chopper, like,
yeah,
oh,
like
you
how am I
just
gonna get
are
over
gonna
there?
die. And there was like nothing you could have done about it.
Yeah.
Like there's no counterplay there. Like you're trying to play the circle, you're trying to play zone, you're trying to like rotate in, and then you just get fucked because some guy that you've never seen in this game, because he's on the opposite side of the map,
hasn't killed anyone,
that hasn't done shit but do a glorified recon, like fucks you over. That's not a good mechanic, no. I like the idea though. You could probably get somewhere with this eventually if you tossed it around.
When it comes to questions like these, we get asked like a lot of these things where people come up with some thought that came in their mind. My question is always just why? What is it? How is that going to make the game better? No. Will it do either nothing or make the game worse? Yes. This is exactly what we don't need in the game or shit like this. That's why Warzone is the way that it is right now. It needs to just go. It needs to just be basic, I think. And ideas like this, in my opinion, just, I don't know, don't belong anywhere. It's exactly like Raz keeps talking about with like Warzone is like, they'll add something in and it'll either have no effect on anything or it just strictly makes the game worse. And that's ideas like this. It's just like, I get that you're trying to like come up with ideas in your head like, oh, like maybe this would work. But at the end of the day, like almost all of them, I'd just say no. So there's just no reason to try to overcomplicate things at all.
That's a good point too.
It's not making a skill gap. It's not doing anything positive for the game at all. So no, I don't want anything like that. And fuck you, M the King.
Yeah, that's a good point too, though, is like, there are times when a franchise, a game mode needs some revitalization. It needs some juice. It needs some freshness. That is not the state Warzone is in right now.
Yeah.
Warzone is not getting stale. It's getting childlike and out of control.
Yep.
It doesn't need more shit. It needs less. That's the problem with Warzone, and has been for months at least. So there are certain games where you need to start getting crazy like this. Probably. Warzone is not one of them. So that's another fair point too. Let's start subtracting things that are detracting from my gameplay experience. Once all of those are done, and then I've played for a year and the game's gotten stale, then we can think about adding new shit in. But until that time, let's settle the fuck down.
Yeah.
Go
apply at Raven. You'll be a great employee there, M the King. And fuck you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question.
Anyway. Next is from Steel Switch, and I'll be answering this question first. If you were to pull a prank while the other was sleeping, what would you do? Very simple, and it's a classic. I would gently dunk my balls in Tanner's mouth and film it.
Don't say that's a classic. Like that's something you do at every sleepover.
I would, and I very specifically am using this verb. I would gently dunk my balls in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Or dip. Or I would dip my balls in his mouth. I don't know which verb is better. I think I'm going to go with dunk, though. So that's obviously what I would do. Don't like doing this type of shit to other people because I don't like it done to me, so I don't want to do it to other people. Like, I was at a sleepover one time when I was younger, and they tried to do the old... No. They tried to do the old prank on someone else where they put your hand in, like, hot water... and then you're supposed to piss yourself or something. I wonder if that's real.
They did that to some kid, and all he did was wake up, and he was just, like, annoyed. He didn't pee. He's like, what are you guys fucking doing? We were, like, in 8th grade or something. Right?
I remember that.
I don't know. It didn't work on this kid. Shout out to Jeffrey. It didn't work. But so, I don't know. Usually the pranks just aren't funny. Do something funny when I'm awake. Don't try to prank me when I'm asleep and helpless. It's just stupid. It's actual childish behavior. Those kids, those kids are all the ones who now
30 years old. Yeah, obviously.
And all of those kids now have, prank channels on YouTube that everyone thinks the pranks are so funny, and 99% of them are fake and scripted out, and these kids just eat it up. I'm like, oh, this is so funny. I can't believe that guy fell for it. Hey, you fell for it because it's not a real prank. It's all fake.
You've pretended.
How do you not? How do you not realize it's fake? So
I don't know.
I've never been a prank type of guy. I think I don't know. Because I don't want it done
pranks. To me. I agree with you. I hate pranks. I think they're all fucking cringe. And I've always been this way. On a very serious note. And I would hear stories about like people actually dunking their balls on people's heads while they're sleeping and taking pictures of it. So I'll make a joke about it. If you actually do that, that's fucking really weird. Even if you're a high school kid, that's not enough of an excuse, man. Hey, I'm not about to whip out my cock and balls around other men, especially while we're taking pictures, and placing them on their face. That's fucking weird, dude. Real weird.
Yep.
Is it evil? No. Is it sexual harassment? Honestly, technically, sure, but no. Like, if Gabe dunked his balls on my eyes and took a picture while I was sleeping, I wouldn't care, honestly. I would laugh in the morning. I'll be honest about it. But I would also be like, that's really fucking weird, dude. What are you doing? I wouldn't feel harassed, though. Duh. But it's still very fucking strange. And I would hear stories about this. Like, people actually did it in high school. And I was like, that's real gay. That's really gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Now, let me be clear. That's fine if you're gay. But do gay shit with your chest. Don't, because this would be the same dudes who are very homophobic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Extremely homophobic. And then they'd be doing the gayest shit. Now, if you want to do gay shit, God bless you. But don't also be a homophobe at the same time. Because now we're starting to ask some questions, aren't we? Starting to ask a couple of questions. Be gay with your chest, man. Don't be a pussy about it. So, anyways, I don't know. I always found that shit weird. And pranks in general are cringe. I fucking hate being pranked. I hate being surprised. One of my ex-girlfriends, she used to like, this isn't exactly a prank, but you know how you I'm going to the bathroom, and she would hide in the hallway and scare me. Boo,
Boo.
And The first time she did it to me, I was like, that shit's not funny. I fucking hate when people do that. Don't ever do it again.
That's weird.
And I
Why
was
did she
really
break up with you?
serious.
That's weird.
And she was like surprised I broke up with her. And she was like surprised, but she's like, okay, whatever. And then I don't know how much longer went by, but this was like months later. She does it again. And we had a fight. We had a full on fight because I fucking yelled at her. I was like, don't do that. I fucking hate it. Don't scare me. It pisses me off so much. I don't like it at all. It's a pet peeve of mine. Do not fucking boo. That shit makes me so angry. Because I'm sitting here, dude. I'm trying to take a piss. I'm, hanging out, vibing. I don't know what I'm doing. Watching a documentary, gaming, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, my heart rate is fucking jacked. Adrenaline spikes through my brain. And I'm squaring up with some 5'4", 100-pound girl in my hallway all of a sudden. Hey, man, don't do that. I'm relaxing. Stop it. I fucking hate when people do that to me. It makes me so angry, and I'll never change. I've always been that way. Don't scare me. It pisses me off so much, dude. God, it makes me mad. Because then I'm all wired for like a solid 15 minutes after. I hate it so bad.
Does it remind you
And
of
I
your time
think
in
it's
the
just
Corps?
me. Because most people my mom used to do it to me too. And every time.
It's a female
I would
thing.
get
Females
mad.
love scaring guys for some reason.
Is it?
That's what it seems like.
It does seem that way.
Guys don't ever do
Ever
that.
done
No,
that to
of
me.
course not. No, it's a girl
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I would never get as mad as you. You have a mental illness,
It
which
makes
is
me
fine.
so angry.
You can have a mental illness. That's fine. That's okay
I
with
don't know
me.
why.
But you have one. If you get because you get that upset by it.
Yeah.
I don't like it either. But yeah, I'm not over here like getting ready to throw a little girl into a wall or something like you
No,
are.
I don't mean okay, when I said I was squaring up with my ex-girlfriend, I don't mean after the fact. I mean what the initial moment when she scares me.
Yeah.
I'm putting my hands up and facing the danger. So for that split second, I am like squaring up and I'm like because I'm fucking scared, man. So I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Hands go up, facing, whatever. I'm not saying after that, I'm like shoving her into the wall and like threatening to beat her up. That's not what I meant. It maybe actually did sound like that. That's not what I meant. It's not what I meant when I said squaring up. But just that initial thing. Because I get really fucking scared at these jump scare shits. And someone in chat is saying, not a fan of scary movies. I'm a huge fan of movies that are scary. So, The Strangers is like my favorite example of an excellent scary movie. It's my favorite scary movie of all time. And it's actually fucking scary. And there are a couple, there's like one or two jump scares in that, but the movie isn't scary because of the jump scares. I've always hated scary movies that are scary because they just have a bunch of jump scares in them.
This looks creepy, man.
Dude, it's scary.
I think I've seen this.
Scary movies, they're cheap. I don't like them. I don't like being scared in that way. And don't do it to me. I hate it. I've always been
What are your
this
thoughts
way.
on the Exorcist movies?
Because I get really jump scared. So I don't like it at all.
Exorcist movies. You like those ones? Those are the scariest to me. The Exorcist, The Exorcism. They make a bunch of them, any of them. They're all kind of like the same thing. Those to me are creepy. I think it's because growing up, Gabe always told us that like exorcisms were real and like that shit actually happens and there's like real stories for it. So I think that just creeped me out forever. Those movies
that's what I was. That's what I was gonna say about The Strangers. Is like the reason most scary movies are like not scary and I don't like them is because they're not real. So like The Exorcist. I don't know if you grew up like religious. I've never gone to like a church service once. I was not raised religious. I've never had one person in authority ever tell me fucking demons are real and shit. So I've never believed that horse shit. So it's just not that scary to me, but I get why it's scary to other people. So The Exorcist was just dumb.
Interesting.
I don't even remember it. It wasn't scary.
Those used to scare me like more than anything. But yeah, that Strangers
especially
movies
if you,
I remember
kind of
seeing.
Believe it? Yeah, for sure. That would be scary if you like are a kid and you like kind of believe in that shit.
Yeah, Gabe used to tell us all that stuff. He'd be like, used to tell us the old one, if you go to like your
He was
bathroom
raised super
between
religious.
like 3 and
Bloody
4
Mary.
a.m. Yep, and say Bloody Mary into the mirror or whatever 3 times. That who is it that comes out? Fucking a Bloody Mary or something
I don't know.
appears.
Some bitch named Mary. Yeah, that's my assumption.
Yeah, I remember I did it one night. She didn't come, of course, but like it didn't work. Fuck you, Gabe. Gabe's such a dumb shit.
Gabe was raised very religious too, so yeah.
Yeah.
If I was raised religious like most people are, especially like Michael and Gabe, I would be fucking terrified of The Exorcist. But I never believed in that shit. But that's why The Strangers is like the scariest movie I've ever seen. Is because here's the plot. Okay, guy and a girl get married. The guy's like parents own a secluded cabin in the woods.
Oh, I love the secluded cabin movies. Always.
And they go there for their like honeymoon. So they go to this cabin. It's really pretty. No fucking neighbors around. It's just on a road. And it's just some guy and his girl, his wife, I guess. And they're just hanging out fucking. And then a truck comes with 3 people. They knock on the door at like 4 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever. I think it's like at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. They knock on the door. They ask for help. The guy is like, no, or whatever. And then the rest of the movie is just that night.
Yeah.
Where these people are, of course, fucking insane. And then they mob the house, try to get inside and kill them. Spoiler alert. Here's how it ends. The husband and wife are tied to their chairs in the dining room. The sun is rising, and one of the 3 people just fucking stabs one in the heart and then fucking stabs the other one in the heart while the husband and wife are facing each other, and the movie ends. No happy ending. Everyone dies.
Usually someone
Everyone
survives
dies, and
in
then
this
the movie's
movie.
over. Yeah, I know. Part of the reason I like it. Because that shit could actually happen. You're alone in the woods, 3 fucking crazy people come to your house, cut your power, cut the phone line.
It's so
There's
easy to
not
do,
cell
too.
service. Yeah, this could actually happen in real life. That's why that movie scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, the movies.
I'm thinking, what could I do in this situation? Die. I would have died too
have a
if I was
gun.
in that situation in real life. There's no supernatural dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cliche to have all those like horror movies like that where it's like at a cabin secluded in the woods, but they're always good. They just keep making them like that because they're almost always interesting because they're scary. Because I'd be like, yeah, I get it, man. I wouldn't want to go to a cabin in the middle of nowhere. That shit's scary. And it always like starts off like they start setting it up early on, like they go to some like little gas station that's in the middle of nowhere, like, oh, this is like last gas station, some little general store. The guy who's running the store is like a complete racist alcoholic. He's like, ooh, where'd you guys come from? They check their phone to like text their like boyfriend. They're like, oh, I don't have service. Boom, it's setting it all up. They all die an hour later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could get, maybe we should, you guys want to have a movie night in Discord tonight, watch a horror film?
It has to be a good one, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Or we can watch some dumb fucking movie with
Let's do that
demons
for our
and
next
shit.
Damascus hangout. Let's watch a scary movie. A super scary
movie.
one.
Yeah.
One that'll fuck us up, man.
Yeah.
Strangers. Let's watch Strangers.
I'm down, dude. It's a great movie, man.
Yeah, I want to see
and
it.
Everyone dies.
Because I can tell from the pictures that I remember seeing it, but I don't know how. I don't remember how anything plays. I think it said it came out like 2006. So
it's pretty old now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it sounds
God,
good.
it's a great fucking movie, dude. So good. It's just simple, elegant. Just a couple of lunatics.
Scary movie, elegant.
It is, man. It's a couple of absolute fucking maniacs, lunatics, killers that fuck around with these poor innocent people.
The Thing.
Seclude them and kill them.
The
Here's
original
the best
Thing?
example of a terrible scary movie. Ready? M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, I think is what it's called. Dog shit movie. Not scary. At all. It's just stupid. It's horseshit. Actually, though, you know what?
Village.
Once I got older, I was like, that movie wasn't scary, but it was interesting, to be fair. But like the paranormal movies, yeah, I just don't care.
Oh, this
like
looks fucking horrible.
Yeah. The Exorcist, it's like, oh, okay, cool, man. Satan possesses some girl who's pissing in her bed. It's just so absurd. I'm just like, this isn't scary at all. Satan isn't real. And he certainly doesn't possess little girls. This is dumb. I'm not scared. This is never going to happen in real life. It's just fucking stupid. But anyway. Yeah, we could do this.
I like killer movies. Like I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those ones scare me because that's also kind of the same thing. Like I feel like there are crazy people out there like that where that shit happens.
It's based on a real guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I like movies that are real, like gory like that as well. A lot of blood, shit like that.
Yeah, they're fun. I don't even know if I'd call Texas Chainsaw Massacre like a scary movie.
Yeah, what do they call it?
Right?
They make
I guess
well,
you
it's
would
also
call it a
considered like a
scary
thriller,
movie, right?
I think.
Thriller would be better, I think. Because yeah, it's not like a spooky movie. It's like, yeah, just some fucking serial killer just mobbing some poor girl. That's what sucks about serial killers too, man. They always pick just the easiest people to kill. Like some 19-year-old sorority chick. Like, she weighs 90 pounds. She's like alone. Like, come on, man. Go kill fucking Conor McGregor or something, pussy.
Damn.
Like, why are you killing these like little girls? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You're a pussy.
Yeah.
You're a little pussy fart. I don't know.
Paranormal Activity, that used to scare me when those came out, like when we were in high school. Those were scary. Like the first one or two. Then they started making too many and they got horrible. But I think it was specifically the first one was very good. And
I remember liking the first one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got bad really quickly, but...
Did you ever see, oh God, what was the movie? Blair Witch Project?
Oh, yeah, Paranormal. Ooh, dude, I'm getting goosebumps looking at these pictures. Ooh, that shit's scary. The Blair Witch. I don't think I've seen the Blair Witch, no.
I haven't either, but there was a big stir about it when it came out. Because it's like all from a camcorder, and like nothing actually happens, I guess, but it's still scary. I don't know. Supposedly like an interesting psychological, like, I don't know, commentary or observation. I kind of want to see it. If I had seen it when it came out, I wouldn't have liked
creepy.
it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But now maybe I would like it, appreciate it.
I don't watch scary movies anymore because Sierra can't do them. She'll like have, since she's a female and they have dreams and nightmares, she'll have nightmares for like 3 days if we watch a scary movie. She's
really?
Unfortunate. Yeah, I don't
and
watch
you don't
want to
put up with that bitch. Yeah,
I don't care like that much because
bitch.
all the new scary movies that come out now, I like watch the trailer on Netflix. I'm like, this looks terrible, and then so I just
Most
don't watch
of them
any
are
of them.
terrible. Yeah.
Most scary movies must be the easiest movie to make because there are so many of them out there, and almost all of them are terrible. There's very few that are good. It's just like I think a bunch of dumb shit writers just getting into the industry, and they make a scary movie because it's pretty easy to scare the average person, but then the movies just aren't interesting.
I think the hardest types of movies to make be good are scary movies and comedies, because they just don't good movies of those types once every 5 years. Like there's one good comedy every 5 years and there's one scary movie every 5 years. That's good.
Yeah.
Like actually, but like if you want to make a good action movie, no problem. There's one every 5 days.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's
Blow
like
some stuff
have
up.
like an interesting plot, have cool special effects, have a fight scene or two, make the good guys win in the end. $300 billion at the box office.
Yeah.
And I'll enjoy it for what it is. Like that's okay. Like that was fine. You know, like it was good. You know, it wasn't fucking, I don't know, Casablanca, but it was fine. Like I enjoyed it. But I can watch a comedy and just be angry I watched it.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them, they're not funny. They piss me off. And then the movie's over and I wasted 2 hours. And then the same thing with scary movies too. It's like, this wasn't good. It wasn't interesting. The ending was bad. And it wasn't scary at any time. Like, it just terrible. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I do know why it's hard to make a good comedy. Because that would be hard as fuck. That's like a hard thing to do.
If
and
you guys
most
want...
of them are just not funny.
If you guys want to see like interesting thrillers that like came out recently, the Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, and there's a third one. Those are all very entertaining. They're like 6 to 8 episodes long. Each episode's like 50 minutes to an hour. Thriller. It was The Haunting of Midnight Mass or just called Midnight Mass?
Either way.
I think it's just called Midnight Mass. But anyways, those are all on I think they're on Netflix, but those are really good shows. I like those a lot. Because you don't. So many of the scary movies too, you know exactly how it's going to end. Always these like throw you off. Shit gets weird. It makes you think. You can't like expect the next thing that's going to happen usually. So those are really good. You didn't watch those yet, did you?
No.
You should watch all those. Jake put me on those. Those are thrillers. Those are really good. They're really entertaining.
Yeah, those are the types of movies. Even if they're good movies, I'll appreciate that they're good. I don't want to watch them because I don't want to get jump scared. I don't like it.
They're not jump scares.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Then
maybe I will.
They're not. Yeah, they're not really jump. It's just more like weird stories. I don't know. I would start with Midnight Mass. That's the most recent one.
I'll look into it. Maybe we could do that for our
creepy.
next Damascus hangout.
Well, that's a series, so it's like 8 hours worth of stuff.
It's not a movie. Okay.
No. That's why they're good, because they're a series. It's a series. It sets it all up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just like good writing.
I did watch that wasn't scary at all, and I don't even remember the story, but it was still good because of the art style. Actually, was Resident Evil.
I never watched that.
It was a pretty good movie, dude. They had that Pyramid Head guy in there, and that's a creepy looking fucking character, man. It's a cool art style.
Yeah.
Real cool art style. I never played the games. I don't play scary games. I can't even watch them. It creeps me out. It pisses me off. But Pyramid Head, dude, I went to what's the Universal Studios? Halloween Horror Nights, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I went to that a couple times. And then one time there was like a Resident Evil thing. And there was some guy dressed as Pyramid Head. And it was like an employee, so he fucking went all out, you know? And I was like, dude, Nick, I was with my friend Nick. I was like, Nick, what the fuck is that? That looks so cool. It's just such a weird thing to think of. Let's make some guy and his head's a pyramid. But it will look creepy. When you just hear that and you haven't seen the guy, you're like, that sounds absurd. It sounds retarded.
Oh, that is creepy. You pull it up
and it's like, dude, that guy's creepy looking. And I don't know why. Why does having, like, what if he had like a cubed head? Or like a
square head.
Like a square head, yeah. That wouldn't be scary. Or maybe
that's
it would.
A little creepy, yeah, I don't know.
But Pyramid Head's a creepy fucking looking character. I like the art. I just like that, like, I don't know. So I enjoyed that movie for that reason. But anyway. Yeah, pranks are cringe. Next, Zpib asks, besides masturbating, what are some of y'all's guilty pleasures? I, for example, am embarrassed to admit that I like watching Survivor. The tribe has spoken. Is there a dumb show or hobby you are low-key not proud of? So, unfortunately, Pib, Tanner's proud of all of the hobbies he enjoys that he should be guilty about. For example, watching The Bachelorette and listening to Taylor Swift. But let's see if Tanner has any shame.
If you can't appreciate that drama those shows bring, man,
drama?
It's not. Well, those ones aren't fake. That one's not fake. That shit's all real.
Oh, The Bachelorette's not fake.
No, those really aren't. Those are not fake.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, some of it is kind of like acted out and they'll redo shit, but that's real stuff. I mean, like the people that meet on there, some of them end up getting married and shit.
Are off of the charts.
No,
the chart has been broken.
You just really don't know. Most of those shows are completely fake and scripted. That is not one of them, though. Which is why there's like less drama on that than all the other ones, because the other ones like super scripted and shit. Like Love Island, those other cringes, I think those are very scripted, but the Bachelor shows aren't really like that at all. I like, let's see, what else? Yeah, those shows are just like, it's so funny because you just sit there and like you start laughing at them, like just thinking like certain things are like the end of the world and just fucking crying about it. It's so entertaining and you always know what's going to happen next. They're so predictable and dumb that it's so funny to just sit there and watch them and laugh at all of it. That's the best thing about those. It's like you just sit there and you make fun of, like Sierra and I just sit there and like we'll look at each other and I'll just be like laughing. I'm like, holy shit, this show is just solid, man. Like it's just a bunch of dramatic girls thinking, you know, their life is over because some guy doesn't want them that they just met 2 weeks prior and shit like that. It's just solid, man. It's just very entertaining.
I get and this is not going to surprise anyone that knows me, but every time I've watched those, I've never watched them alone, obviously. So like, yeah, I'll be watching them with someone, and then I'll just get mad at how fake it is. And like, no one would ever react this way. This would never happen. This person would never do this. This is absurd. I can't believe how fake it is. How does anyone watch this shit? This is not believable. And then the person watching with me will just get mad. They're like, fucking leave. Like, stop. Don't watch it with me. And I'm like, all right, bet. Change it. Change the channel then, bitch. That's always me, which a lot of guys are like that. But a lot of guys are like you too, where they'll like pretend to hate it and then they'll get into it, you know? I can see it being entertaining. I just can't. I can't do it. But anyway, so you're not guilty about that. Do you have any pleasures you're guilty about? I mean, not really, obviously, but
I can't really think of any right now.
Yeah. Mine is listening to terrible pop music. Terrible, awful, catchy songs, pop music. Really good example, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo.
Good for you.
When that song came out, that song fucking bangs, dude. It's not good music. I mean, it's not like terrible. There's worse pop music, but it's decidedly a fucking pop song.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that song.
And it's not musically interesting, really. I mean, maybe it is, but to me, it just sounds like some fucking pop song. And I'll just listen to the fuck out of it. And a bunch of other pop, just trash, I will listen to shamelessly. That's what I first thought of with guilty pleasures. Oh, and by the way, besides masturbating, hey, masturbating is not a guilty pleasure of mine. It is a proud pleasure of mine. Of course I like beating off, dude. Hey, I'm a fucking man. Duh. Why would I be guilty about this? So that's not a guilty pleasure. That's just a pleasure, a distinct pleasure, first of all. But yeah, listening to just horrid pop music. That's just trash. Yeah.
That one actually is trash. A lot of it is catchy. I'm not a big fan of that song. I played a few seconds of it, so I knew which one. Yeah, I'm not. It's a terrible song. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. But it's
like, why does that get popular? You know?
Something about it, dude.
Catchy, huh?
It has that thing that makes it catchy. Yeah.
That thing.
I watched a video once about like pop songs, and like really popular songs, they have a ton of shit in common, actually. One of the things they have in common is like the beats per minute, like the tempo of the song. There's like some BPM, like 140 or something.
Really?
That's like the hit single BPM. And then it'll have other things. I don't remember most of the shit, but like one of them was a specific BPM. One of them was like a very specific like chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, and like the song ends or something. Like some like very specific structure, and then it would show like a billion pop songs that have that. Oh, another one. Oh, fuck. I wish I remembered, dude. I was so interested in this. It's like a chord progression, note progression. Oh, fuck me. This is going to bother me so much, and I'm never going to remember.
Just remember it real quick.
I'm never going to remember what it is. But every popular song, it's like the 7E7.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the 77, yeah.
Some shit like that. And it's like every song, it's like the same notes, or they're in the same scale in the same way or something. And I didn't even know this existed. And then some guy in this YouTube video was talking about it. And then he showed a bunch of examples. And he's like, yeah, if you guys don't believe me, there's literally a Wikipedia page that lists every song that's had like that's like gone gold or platinum or whatever the fuck on it. And the Wikipedia page, I mean, you can scroll for years and there's still just hit.
Huh.
I was like, wow. So there's like a formula. There's like a hit song formula that these guys know.
They know something we don't.
They know a lot of things we don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway. Ox asks, do you think it would be a good idea for the developers to ask a few questions about the game upon opening the game for things they want information on? For example, when you load the game, Would you rather dead silence remain in the game or not? Would pop up on the screen. You have the chance to answer instead of asking shit on Twitter, where the average KD of people answering would be a lot higher and the focus group a lot lower. The control that would be the control group in that case.
That's tough because I do kind of like
camera, by the way.
I do kind of like when I wasn't talking yet, barely. I'd like just started talking.
Okay.
I do like sometimes when like they ask things, but then also a lot of times I don't want them to ask shit because what I think is not what the majority of people think in the game. So that's why it's like, well, great. You know, I may rather not have this thing in the game, but only 10% of people also don't want that in the game. And then everyone else is just going to ruin it and make the game even worse. And I almost feel like that's what they've done lately, and that's why the game's gotten so bad, because they have been saying they're taking feedback, and they don't do the things that people care about, or that, you know, like the higher skilled players recognize and can see, like no footstep audio and shit. But they'll do other dumb things to the game. Like this loadout change they just asked on Twitter if they're going to do that or not. If they're going to make like titanium trials and regular BR where the price decreases. And then I like when they ask things like what do you want like the game mode to be this week? Do you want Rebirth quads in, or do you want Iron Trials trios Rebirth in, or shit like that? I think it's cool when they do that, but I don't trust what the devs are going to do, but I also trust less what the average player of COD is going to vote for in those polls, because almost always it's going to be the opposite of what I think, and then it's going to make the game even worse. So I don't really know. This is actually a very hard question to answer. I would rather almost the devs just make the smart decisions themselves and not have to rely on, because it's insane that some kid that's played 10 rounds of Warzone and has a .14 KD can then vote on a poll like that and that have meaning when they don't even know anything. So you would just have these insanely skewed results because people answering questions that they don't even know what they're really answering. I think that's the biggest issue. So like you kind of can't do things like that, but I don't know.
I think too, Ox, like especially when we're talking about Activision and Call of Duty, this whole question implies that they really care about what the players want, and they just don't. They don't care what you want. And that's the thing. So
they care what the below average player wants to keep them playing.
Sort of.
I mean, no kid with a .1 KD is upset with the hero villain tokens. Like, oh, cool, there's an event. They don't care about shit like that. They don't notice that it blocks the audio and things like that.
Of course. Yeah,
doesn't affect them.
True. It's just like, I don't really think, and sometimes I say this, and I'm actually not really sure where I land on this, but like, there are some design choices. So, okay, like the porous maps in MW 2019 is like a perfect example. Like, no one asked for that. They just did it. Because the devs thought, like, you know what? Players are going to like this. This is going to help low-skilled players. And it sort of did, kind of, but also not really. If you're a bad player, nothing you're going to change is going to make you on par with someone better than you. They're always going to be better than you, no matter what. Because they're going to adapt. They're adaptable. They're better. So that's why I got so mad at the operator ability shit in BO4. It's like they obviously add that in to give the terrible player a really overpowered thing that allows them to get a kill. And it's like, cool, you can do that. But also good players are also going to be able to use that ability. And they're going to be a lot fucking better than that kid.
True.
So that kid's going to get his one lucky kill with his operator ability. Meanwhile, he's going to get dunked on by an operator ability 8 times in that match. Was that worth it?
Yep.
Probably not. Probably not. So, like, a lot of it is, I just don't think the devs really care that much about what the player thinks, whether they're good or bad. Because the devs have data and they think they know better. And that's kind of like what Tanner is saying. That's kind of what the devs will think, right?
Yep.
It's like I can ask a casual if they want dead silence in the game or not. The casual might even think that they do want it as a perk, but they don't know better. And they would actually like it better if it wasn't a perk. But the dev is thinking, well, I know what the casual wants in the game more than the casual himself. So I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless of what the casual tells me. So I don't think asking them is going to really change anything. Because the devs are going to do what the devs are going to do regardless, in a lot of cases. There are certain things like the loot box shit that doesn't affect like gameplay, and then they're going to listen to the community. But in terms of like gameplay balancing things, I think the devs are kind of thinking the same thing Tanner thinks, which I also think the average player doesn't know what they want. And they're often wrong about what they want. They'll say they want one thing, and they would be very unpleasantly surprised if that thing was actually added to the game. They think they want X, and they don't realize that if X was added to the game, they would be fuming mad about it.
Yeah.
Because they're casual and they don't think deeply about these things. So the devs have that same mentality, and so do Tanner and I on a lot of topics. But the problem is the devs don't know either. So the devs correctly recognize the average player doesn't know what's good for the game, so they don't listen to the average player about what to do for the good of the game. But the devs are under the misapprehension that they do know what's good for the game. Here's the thing, though. They also don't know what's good for the game. And this is why Tanner and I always say, you guys, Activision, dev teams, need to not listen to the average player. We never advocate for that. We specifically advocate for get people on your team to consult. Hire players that are really good that play all the time. These are the people that know how to change the game. These are the people you should be listening to. Not the average shitter and not the devs themselves, because they look at Caldera. They obviously don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
So you need to listen to people who are not casual, but who do play the fuck out of your game. They're going to know what to do to make the game better.
Yeah, like those people that are better can also
Go
think and make decisions for the players that are below average.
Absolutely.
And know more what would benefit them than the below average player would be benefited from themselves.
Absolutely.
That's like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is what it's funny too, because there's another Blizzard game called Hearthstone. And Hearthstone, fucking half of their card design and card balance team is ex-professional Hearthstone players. So they actually like use this strategy for their card game, but they refuse to for Call of Duty. And it's just very weird to me. I don't know.
We said that all the way back in like MW 2019, early on in the pod, that why does Activision not bring on consultants that are big content creators and whatnot? Well, maybe that's what the COD partners do. And in that case, then never mind, because they're all, don't bring anything up. But it's like, I really feel like there needs to be consultants from all forms, like some CDL players, some amateur players that are, trying to get in the CDL, Warzone pros, big earners, different people to give their input directly and have a better chance of them listening to that input, I think. But, again, who they listen to input from? The people who get the most views on Twitch and don't necessarily know more about the game. Well, they definitely don't know more about the game than a kid who plays, has earned hundreds of thousands of dollars playing Warzone. But because they have a bigger following, so they have more of a say.
And that's another thing too, is like people joke about sweaty, no life nerd virgins or whatever. But like if you're really good at almost literally anything, you're a pretty smart person. No one gets to be top 0.01% of almost anything without at least being really smart about that particular thing.
Yeah.
You don't just luck into that. You can't be a complete fucking retard and be insanely good at like almost anything. And then some of you are going to be like, oh, but what about the best fucking, I don't know, center in the NFL? He's just some big fucking ape. And it's like, okay, maybe you think that, and maybe he can't teach a fucking physics class. But you ask him about football, that dude knows a lot more than you think he does.
Yep.
And it might look like he just stands there and fucking blocks. I barely know what a center is. I don't even know if that's a defensive or offensive position in football. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I know
either.
it's just a big fucking dude that like runs into other dudes every play. But that dude, like the best ones especially, they fucking know football, dude. They know a lot more than anyone would think.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not going to teach trigonometry, but they're really smart about, at least in that aspect. These people are smart, and they're smart enough to make decisions that would also benefit casuals if they were asked to.
Yeah.
So that's what needs to happen. And we've always been saying this. Casuals don't know what the game needs.
That's
They
kind
don't
of
know what
like
they want.
It kind of goes along with like the aim assist debate. Casual players think it's not busted at all or it's not strong enough, but then the kids that are the top earners in Warzone are the ones that are like, no, aim assist needs to be nerfed. And that would technically, you know, maybe the player who isn't that good has a little less aim assist, but also someone that's a little bit better than them. Let's say they're a 0.6 KD, they're fighting a guy that's a 0.9 KD. That guy's aim assist isn't going to be as strong either. You're going to have almost a better chance of winning that fight. You know, it's not always going to be negative
you're also
things.
Benefiting all the casual K-BAM players.
Yeah, it's like every casual controller kid on TikTok thinks Naughty is cheating. It's like, no. She's just better than you and moves around better, and it looks like she has aimbot even though she has the same level of aim assist as you. You just don't know how to abuse it because you're not good enough and you can't figure it out. That you think she's fucking cheating.
Yeah.
No, like that bug when you'll watch kill cam sometimes, like someone with a controller, they'll down you, and as you like go down, your body kind of glitches out and like goes down quickly, and like the aim assist like stays on your center chest, and it looks like, well, it looked like this dude is like aim locking or something. That happens all the time. If you watch kill cams, you see that happening every death. So many people keep posting those videos, and it's like Naughty is aimbot malfunctioning, and they're dead serious. And I'm like, you guys have never played the game. I can play. It's happened 2 times the other day on Fortune's Keep. I watched a kill cam where that happened to me. That they're, as soon as I was down, it like snapped over where my body like fell off to the side, and it was still on my chest, downing me. I'm like, no, that's how it is sometimes when the body glitches out.
3 frames per second.
Well, it's not even the kill cam either because they're showing it from her point of view. But the kill cam is how I can see it. That's how I see it happening to me. And it's like, no, that just happens all the time. But people don't understand those things, even though they have that same exact capability. They just can't figure it out.
Yeah. That's a great example. And there are so many examples that casuals just don't know what the fuck is going on. And I would be very interested in hearing about the number of players who play on controller who unironically, and some of you are listening and you guys are wrong, who unironically say, I play better with aim assist off. So like Ox is asking me if we should listen to that person's input on anything related to this game. And the answer is, of course, a resounding, absolutely not. Do the opposite of everything they want.
Yeah. Because
if you, there's an example of something a casual player might think that it perfectly demonstrates they don't know what's good for the game. So no, I don't want their input. I don't want them being pulled. But the problem is the devs don't know what they're doing either. So you have to have somebody in the room that's a fucking adult that knows how to make the game better. And that's why we've advocated for, and will continue to, them getting consultants.
There's a reason Aiden, Biffle, Unrational, all those top guys play with aim assist on, little buddy. It's not helping you turning it off, man. And yeah, this whole Read Boy thing, I still don't know if that's real or not, if he actually plays with aim assist off. He's an actual fucking idiot if he plays with aim assist off, and he should be shamed for that constantly. I think he shows it in games sometimes. I don't know. I don't ever watch him. I have like one time when he was sitting on a roof for 10 minutes, so I stopped. But it's like, dude, you're an idiot if you think that.
There's no chance, yeah. I don't believe it at all.
I mean, he does actually still play on a console, so maybe he does.
Yeah, I don't know. So, anyway.
Smooth sack summer slowly coming to an end, fellas. If you haven't been scaping for the summer sun, it's not too late to sweep your sack of those pesky pubes. As summer comes to an end and we enter fall, keep your boys clean and fresh just in time for Fresh Ball Fall. The leader in below-the-waist grooming is here to make sure your pubes feel smoother than a beach ball and smell fresher than your girl's pumpkin spice. Start the new season the right way and join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off, free worldwide shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep your sweet, sweet sack in check. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of your goodies. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock, and it gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof? Whether you're hopping in the shower or hitting up the lake, this razor will devour even the strongest pubes. Now that your sack is smooth, lather up with Manscaped's liquid formulations to get that fresh ball fall freshness. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant to stay cool in the heat. Their soothing aloe vera formula is the best in the business for below the waist freshness, and the clear drawing formula keeps your sack looking and smelling good. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers, which are very soft and comfortable, and their Shed travel bag that'll bring your comfort to another level at home and on the go. Keep yourself groomed from head to toe with their Shears 2.0, a luxury nail grooming kit. This kit includes a stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. With the Performance Package, your balls will be ready to impress, but make sure to cover the rest with the Shears 2.0. Get 20% off, free shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. Keep things smooth and fresh as we say sayonara to smooth ball summer and enter fresh ball fall. Hey, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably enjoy Warzone, and many of you play fantasy sports. Well, now you can combine those two courtesy of our friends at Coliseum. Coliseum is a Warzone fantasy league that takes popular Warzone streamers and lets you form a team every week of up to 6 streamers while having to remain under a set salary cap. The prices of streamers change weekly, so it's up to you to decide how to build the best possible team. You can all enter the Friday freebie contest every week for free. Yes, free. Win up to $150 weekly just by making an account and picking your ultimate Warzone team. It's really that easy. The prize pool starts at $75 and increases by $5 up to a max of $150 every single weekend. You earn fantasy points based on your team's kills and wins. The stats of all streamers are updated automatically during the Friday freebie, which runs from Friday to Sunday. Wins and kills during that time span will grant you points as you face off against others in the fantasy league. You can track it all live in your Coliseum account. Here's how to play. Go to coliseum.co. That's KOLOSSEUM.co. Use code DROPSHOT during signup to start winning cash in their Friday freebie league. Signups close at 7 p.m. Pacific Friday night. I just set my team for this weekend. Why don't you sign up and see how we stack up? Last week, I got in the money. I got 5th place. What did you get? Nothing, probably. You having trouble picking your squad? Don't worry. The players' total wins, top 5 finishes, score per minute, and more are all listed on the Coliseum website during the team selection. Time to get more from Warzone streaming. Enter Coliseum's free Fantasy Warzone contest and win when your favorite streamers win. Build your dream squad now at coliseum.co.
Next, Steel Switch asks, what is your opinion of people/kids that call their parents by their first name? It's an interesting question.
I've never really come across people like that. The only people that I've ever seen do that is like
this is
girls,
a white kid thing.
Girls like in high school, college level that are like Barb, like drinking with Barb, like getting mimosas with Barb, and it's like they're talking about their MILF white mother, you know, shit like that. Yeah, but it's not a common thing. I don't know. It's weird, but it's not something I usually really hear.
It's super weird. I very rarely hear it too, but it's super weird, but also it's definitely the parent's fault. If the parent doesn't want them to be calling them anything but mom or dad, and they do it anyway, then raise your kid better. Hey, your kid should listen to you. Not hard to make your kid listen to you. Pretty easy, actually. And if they're not listening to you, it's your fucking fault. So if they, it's not the kid's fault. But it is very weird. Yeah. I just, my opinion of the kid on the very rare, I can't even think of an instance, but I know I've seen and heard this before. I never have an opinion at all of the kid. I just lose all my respect for that parent. They're like, hey, Bill. Hey, Susan. I'm like, oh, okay. So you don't know how to raise children. Like your own kids don't respect you? Wow, that's insane. You must be a real piece of shit. That's always my opinion, but it's not an indictment of the kid at all. It's just like the parents fucking dog shit. Unless the parents want their kids to be calling them by their first name, which I guess is fine if that's what you want to do. I think it's fucking strange, and I don't think there's really a reason to do that, but I could probably think of some justifications for why you'd want that, but I don't. It's not a usual thing, and I don't see the reason for it, so I don't know. I think it's weird.
Yeah.
But I just don't respect the parents anytime that happens.
No.
Plus they're white.
The parents, yeah.
Next is a European child. Who the fuck is this?
It's
Bjorn. He's not European. Have you guys ever experienced burnout while working on the podcast? I don't know what burnout means. I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
what does that
kind
mean?
of when we were working still. I was working 40 hours a week. I talked about it a lot back then, but it's like I would work 8 to 6, get off work, drive home really quick, eat something super fast, say hi to my wife, tell her, figure out your own thing for dinner. I don't have time to do anything or think. Get right on and then start at 6:30 and then stream, the pod and gameplay till like 10 o'clock at night. And then doing that constantly got pretty annoying. But I would never call it like burnout. No, that just got a little like, oh, fuck, dude, I'm tired. And then we had to play Verdansk at nighttime. So it's like 1.5 lobbies every single night we played. Wasn't very fun, but I mean, recently it's been hard to do some of the episodes because of the state of Call of Duty, but even then it hasn't ever felt like burnout really, no. Which I'm actually surprised because we've pretty much done the pod 2 days a week for the last 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. We don't miss many days.
Yeah.
But no, it's never really felt like burnout.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like, if we've ever been close to burning out, we would just adjust. And I would think that going forward. I feel like the only way we would experience burnout is if we were forced, like absolutely forced to do something that's taking more time and effort than we want to be spending for like months. And that situation has never happened.
Yeah.
We've never even been close to that. Because the reality is, if I'm close to burning out on something related to the podcast, I stop doing it. Or I scale it back. Because we can. Like, like if I had to keep doing the TikToks as much as I was doing them, maybe I would have experienced burnout. So we scaled those back.
Yeah.
A big part of the reason we scaled them back is they stopped having any traction for like weeks and weeks. Yep. So we're going to keep doing them, but now it's kind of like only when there's like a really good TikTok that can be made, then I'll take the time to do it. And then another thing, like all the bonus episodes we were doing, if we were absolutely forced to do that and MW2 was never coming out, and then we had to keep doing that until February, maybe we'd get burnt out by then.
Yeah.
But we like started to approaching burnout, and we just said, oh, let's do less. And then that's what we did. We just adjusted. So no, we have not experienced burnout. Fortunately, I'm not some guy with a mortgage that's too expensive for his job, with kids, with bills to pay, working 40 hours a week in a job I fucking hate. That I would see as burnout potential. Because it's like, that guy can't quit his job. Like, he's going to be homeless and his children will like fucking starve. But
Exactly.
so he has to keep going to work, and there is not a goddamn thing he can do about it. That would be burnout, but we're not in that. I mean, we're very fortunate for the time being. We're not in that situation where that's going to be a thing.
Yep.
And we still quite like doing the podcast. So yeah, no, I've not experienced burnout. We've worked hard, but yeah, not too hard. Crap on a cracker. Change it. Asks, are you guys happy with the high likelihood that Raven is definitely listening to the podcast and taking notes? Or more malding that Timmy Timmons won't give you guys an interview? If he offered you an interview, oh boy, would you take it?
No, we just talked about this like in the last podcast. No, I wouldn't anymore. I don't care what he has to say at this point. Like, if we had answered this question when you asked it in May, I would probably say, oh yeah, I'd love to have Ted on the pod, but after he spent the last 4 seasons saying, oh, love this season, can't wait for you guys to see what's coming, and then we get villain tokens that make a lot of sound and a couple lava flows on the map. No, I don't care what he has to say anymore. I really honestly don't. And I have no interest in interviewing him at this point. But yeah, Raven has definitely listened to the pod before on numerous occasions. Yeah, that's, I'm certain of that. But it's like, I mean, this is why we'll never be involved with Call of Duty directly, is because we say things negatively and COD partners don't. And they can't do anything like that if they want to become COD partners. That's why a lot of these kids suck up to them as hard as they do. But that's just not going to be me ever. I don't care even if it could make us more money, get us more exposure, I'm not going to change the way I am and stop talking shit about their dog shit game when they make terrible decisions, because someone needs to tell them they're doing a terrible job. Because the COD partners certainly don't.
Just a single person, holy shit, please, God, yeah.
Yeah, but if someone from Raven listens every once in a while, yeah, good for them. I hope they are. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't affect the game at all. Because they could, raise the slider on footstep volume by 2%, but they haven't, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so am I happy with the likelihood that Raven is listening to the pod and taking notes? First of all, they're not taking notes, obviously. Look at Caldera. They haven't taken a single solitary goddamn note. And I don't know what Raven listening to the podcast means. I mean, I kind of know what you mean, but it's like, there's so many people at Raven. Do I think Ted Timmons listens to this podcast? No, definitely not.
It'd be like the
maybe
social media marketing type people
or something. Yeah, exactly. Like, and maybe there's a couple Raven employees who like have listened to a good amount of episodes, or are regular listeners even. That's possible, but they could very well agree with everything we're saying, and there's nothing they can do about it. Because think about, if you work at Raven, how many people are Raven employees that could actually change anything if they wanted to? 3, 5, 10, maybe? Most of these guys, it's not their fault. If you're some fucking code guy at Raven, what are you going to do? Tell Ted this is a terrible idea? No, you're going to do your fucking job, and it's not your fault. I don't blame the fucking code people at Raven.
Yeah, art people, shit like that.
We've never done that. I don't blame the rank and file at Activision ever. It's why we always specifically target development heads, department heads, studio heads, publishing heads. That's why we single these people out. It is their fault. They are the ones in control. I don't blame the guy at Raven coding a PPSH. Not his fault. He's doing his job. He's doing what he's told. And if he doesn't do what he's told, he gets fired, and then someone else comes in and does what he's told. So why make that first guy get fired? He can't change shit. I don't blame him at all. It's not his fault. It is Ted's fault, though. A lot of these things are Ted's fault. That's why we single Ted out. Fuck Ted. So, anyway, I would be happy if Raven was listening. And if someone with authority at Raven was listening, I would be thrilled. Because I want them to hear what I'm saying and feel bad about it. I want them to feel bad or angry. Any negative emotion I could make Ted feel when I criticize all of the decisions he's made surrounding Warzone, that makes me happy. I like that. If Ted listened to me talking about how much of a fucking disaster Caldera is right now. And he like kind of tossed and turned in bed that night and slept an hour less than he otherwise would have and had a shittier day the next day, I would be happy about that. I'd be glad that I caused him to suffer as a result of hearing negative feedback on his terrible decisions, because he needs to change it. All of it's a change it. So I would be happy about that. I just don't think anyone with authority at Raven is listening. Maybe they've listened to a thing or two, but they wouldn't regularly listen to this podcast. They fundamentally disagree with us, obviously. Ted Timmons fundamentally disagrees with the things we think. If he didn't, then Warzone would look totally different than it looks right now. So he doesn't listen. Or he really likes to hear opposing viewpoints, which is possible, but I just don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And am I malding that Ted isn't going to give us an interview? Fuck no. Why the fuck would he do that? Of course he's not going to give us an interview. I don't blame Ted for that. I blame Ted for a lot of things, but not coming on this fucking podcast? Not something I blame him for, because it would be a fucking lynching, dude. Oh my God. And on the topic of if he offered to have an interview with us, would we take it? I don't know what Tanner's thinking. Of fucking course I would take it. With gusto and haste, I would say yes immediately. And I would instantly be preparing a number of scathing questions. Not
yeah, but he won't
because I
answer
would
any
get
of them.
But we would get him on record evading questions. We would get him on record lying. We would get him on record fumbling. And maybe one or two of the questions he would actually answer, and we would expose him on record. But we would get all of these things on record, and that would be fantastic. And I would love to do that. I would love the opportunity to do that. He wouldn't answer, as Tanner correctly pointed out, he wouldn't answer any of our questions to our satisfaction. None of them. I mean, none of them. He would be a politician. But we would get him on record looking like a fucking weasel, and that would be good. It would be a good thing to have him on record trying to sideskirt all of the atrocious decisions he's made. So of course I would jump at that opportunity. Of course I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play ball, like Tanner said. It would not be a fucking... Who's a softball interviewer? I don't know. I don't watch politics enough anymore. But anyway, yeah, I would take it.
Yeah.
I would want some time to prepare, though. Really good questions. Airtight questions, and a lot of them. So,
if you're listening on an app, the sound got messed up for a few seconds when Raz was saying things, but there's nothing I can do now. It was like my Go XLR froze or something. I don't know.
That happened last episode too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if one of my cables is going bad or if the recent Go XLR
It
app
was
or
my
what
video
it is.
too. I think it was my internet or yours.
No, because something happens on my Go XLR, like it resets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the levels
Have
reset.
you updated it?
I mean, it updated weeks ago. So
There's
I
a
don't
new
know.
app update. It keeps asking me about. Maybe try that. But anyway.
Oh, I
yeah,
think I just did that
would
the other
take
day,
it.
actually, after it did that. I'll look again. But anyways, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna
Steel
say
Switch.
anything we care about, though. That's why I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah, of course.
He
Of
won't
course
answer
he's not.
anything.
Yeah. Steel Switch, regardless of the game, if the game is any good, have you ever been impressed of game solely on graphics, with or without ray tracing? Are you talking about COD specifically, or just any game in
I
particular?
think he's saying any game.
What a dumb question.
Why is that a dumb question? What are you talking
Of
about?
course I've been impressed with a game's graphics before. I've been
Yeah, but
playing
there's
video
not
games
many
for 25
games
years.
that like blow you away. There's not if you think there's a bunch of games that blow you away, then you don't have high standards for graphics or something. When I first played Red Dead 2, that one blew me away when because I had a 4K TV, I was playing on a 4K Xbox, loading that sucker up on launch night. That was like, holy shit, this world is insane. This is really pretty. This looks insanely realistic. The detail on everything when you're riding your horse and it leaves all the marks in the mud and shit. You fall in the mud, your character gets mud on them, you punch someone, you get blood splattered on your face, shit like that. All little detail was insane when I first saw that. And then another recent one was, what was that game that was a huge flop? Cyberpunk.
I played Cyberpunk for like 3 hours, but I was like, whoa, this world's cool. Not necessarily
He was on PC, by the way.
strictly because of the graphics for Cyberpunk, but the world itself. Like, you're in the downtown, all the lights everywhere, like people everywhere. I'm like, whoa, this is a very detailed world. Like, this place is huge. You know, these people all walking around doing their own thing. This is very cool. Those are like the two most recent ones I've been like, actually like, wow, these are insane graphics. But it's like, I don't think that for most games. COD, I've never once thought that about any of the COD games, and probably never will. And I don't want it to, because you're going to get worse performance when you get shit like that. There's a reason you get, 30 frames on Red Dead 2 playing maxed out on PC, because the graphics are absurd. I don't want that on COD, and I turn the graphics down anyways.
There's a reason competitive games are run at fucking 400 FPS actually on PCs, because it's because the devs of those games, Valorant, CS:GO, have a brain and understand this. Yeah, definitely. I've been impressed by a game based Well, you say solely on graphics. It doesn't make sense to say regardless if the game is any good, because if the game is good, I'd be impressed with the game being good and the graphics. But if you're asking me if there's a game I've ever seen that was really impressive, literally only graphically, Cyberpunk would be a great example. That game's really pretty. That's about it. But even more recently than that, this game was good, and I was incredibly impressed with the graphics and the art style. Elden Ring. That game looks so fucking cool, man. I think the art style of Elden Ring is like my favorite video game aesthetic I've ever seen. It's just like a fucking... It's like a... Everything, or a lot of things are very big and mystical, but also like they can get real fucking evil looking, but like actually evil, not like gauche. I don't know. I love the art style of Elden Ring. And on top of that, the graphics themselves are really, really strong. So that is just incredibly impressive. It's such
I didn't realize
pretty game.
Elden Ring was known for graphics. See, I'm like watching like gameplay right now of 4K, and it doesn't look like. So like that would be a game that I'd think like, oh, the graphics are good, but it like doesn't blow me away at all. It looks like a modern game that I would think would have graphics like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'm getting too caught up.
I think it's because it is
style.
that, like the art style itself, like that style of
maybe.
game. Yeah.
Possible. But I'm with you. Cyberpunk was a game that the only thing that was impressive was the graphics. That game did look fucking dope, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the first 10 hours of the game were a movie scene, basically, where you didn't actually do anything. You just read.
It was awful.
Jesus. I can't believe they launched the game like that. Just nothing hooked you right away at all. That's the reason I stopped playing. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to play this. This is already fucking this boring. At the start of the game, where it should be like one of the best missions to get you hooked. Jesus, man. Nope.
Yeah, some games have done that, but then the difference between those games and Cyberpunk is I was actually interested.
Yeah.
With the other games,
Yeah.
Like, ooh, this is getting me hyped,
The Assassin's Creed games, by the way, back in the day, some of those were like, whoa, this is cool. Because again, I like when it's like, I guess more realistic worlds, because you think like, oh, this is cool. This is how the time was back in the 1400s, whenever this is 1700s, whenever some of these, they're all over the place of those games when those are taking place. That's what's cool, is seeing like the worlds from back then. I'm like, oh, this is interesting to see, because they try to have a level of historical
accuracy. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, you can look things up and it's like, oh, this is how this town was supposedly laid out and shit, actually. That's what's cool about it.
And like, that's how people actually dressed. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that shit a lot too. The older I get, the more I like history shit.
Yeah.
Like period, like historical movies too. And they'll do documentaries on how they did like fucking research on what people would actually wear. Like how the shop would actually look, what they'd actually use, and then they'd like use all that in the movie. That's something when you're 16, you don't give a shit about.
No.
But then you're older and it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. Like if it was this year, this is actually what the butcher would be wearing and doing, and like that's how his shop would look. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, dude, Assassin's Creed, by the way, it's a shame those games get boring.
Yeah.
Because the overarching story of Assassin's Creed is like super interesting.
Oh, I know. I was about to say that
time
next.
traveling, fucking weird, like Illuminati bullshit. It's like a cool little. It's like a Oh God, who wrote the Da Vinci Code?
Some guy.
It's like that. Like the overarching narrative of Assassin's Creed, like the Da Vinci Code. It's like that style of story where it's like some big grand conspiracy in the background that spans centuries, and these fucking like assassins are all part of this, like, it's like the Giga Illuminati, but then they can also like time travel or some shit. I don't exactly know. I don't really know the story. I just remember thinking this is a cool like background story that's like a thread through the games, even if it's not like the story of that particular game itself. I really like that. It's a shame that the games just get old super quick.
Well, it's a shame they started making them, 15 years ago. I wish if Assassin's Creed games just started getting made now with the graphics that they have, wouldn't feel like the same game for the 10th year in a row, etc. Things like that, they would be insanely popular, like game of the year level video games, but they actually released them too early on in time. They were ahead of their time in every single way. And now it's just, I see one come out, I'm like, oh, this looks so dope. And then I'm like, you know what? I know I'm going to be bored of it in 10 hours, though. It'll be an excellent 10 hours, but I'll just wake up one day, play it, and have no interest of ever playing it again. That's how they've always been for me. It's like, I'm having fun. All of a sudden, I get on the next day to play a game, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like playing. I'm going to play something else. Get on the next day, feel like playing it less, and then just, I've never finished an Assassin's Creed because it's never hooked me for that long. They get so repetitive and boring.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I wish like we got to experience it for the first time with like graphics that we have today with that gameplay for the first time, because it is a really, really excellent game idea, but it's the same thing every year now. And it is really fun
until it's not.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's really fun, then all of a sudden one day you just don't feel like playing it anymore. It's very weird. I
completely agree. I kind of feel bad for the devs.
Oh, don't. They make plenty of money off that game.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to say, how do you make Assassin's Creed not super fucking repetitive? Because like you press the button to like crouch in the grass, you walk up behind the guy, you press a button, you assassinate him.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that not repetitive? That's really hard to do.
Exactly.
Like, I don't even know what you would do.
I don't know
so it's
either.
like, it's almost not even their fault. It's like, what the fuck are they supposed to do? You can't make this like not repetitive. You know?
All of the stories are the same. It's like, go here, kill this guy, protect this person. Yeah, it's like you can't, I don't know. But, games like COD are repetitive too, but I guess there's no end game for Assassin's Creed. It's like, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, and it's very easy, like you're saying. And then, I don't know, you do one last mission for the same thing over and over again, and then you beat the game. Like, I don't know. It's just, I think the other thing with that game is there's too many side missions you could do that I start doing and then get bored of the main storyline. Because then I start doing all these side things, killing these people. And then when it gets to the main mission where I also have to kill people or do this, and I'm like, well, I'm bored. I just spent 5 hours doing side missions that don't matter of me doing the same thing. So now I don't care about the main storyline anymore. Yeah. Because I'm just bored of the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Anyway, next. From Steel Switch again, the king of the Q&A. The Q&A king, Steel Switch. By the way, Steel Switch, you need to @ me in Discord, and I'm giving you permission here. @ me and tell me where and how you think of the questions you ask. Because a lot of them are just like random good questions that seem simple, but it's like, yeah, but how the fuck did you think of that? What made you think of that? Do you come up with them in the shower? Do you sit down and brainstorm? Let us know.
Yeah.
Next one from Steel Switch. Would you rather have a plate of cookies, brownies, or fudge?
Oh, fuck, that's hard. Fudge, fuck no. Fudge is fine, but I'm not ever going at,
fudge.
I've never
Too
once
rich.
bought fudge for myself. If someone buys fudge, like, oh, here's some fudge, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll eat it. But fuck you if you go around buying fudge. Brownies or cookies? Oh my God, that's hard. That's really hard.
That's extremely difficult.
I'm going to compare like a nice warm
freshly
perfect cookie
baked chocolate
to the
chip.
perfect brownie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To a gooey chocolate brownie with also some chocolate chips in there. Fuck. God
it's a
damn it,
toughie.
man.
It's a toughie, man. It's a toughie.
Fuck. I think cookies. I think the difference is cookies always hit. Brownies I more have to be in a mood for.
Literally, exactly what I was
Because they're more rich than cookies. I can eat 10 chocolate chip cookies. Brownies, I can eat one and then I'm sick of it. But they're both excellent desserts.
That's the perfect take. I was literally going to say exactly the same thing. When I feel like brownies wins. But sometimes it's too much. It's too rich. But cookies, I never don't want a cookie. And to be fair, I never don't want a brownie either. But if I don't particularly feel like a cookie, I'm still going to love a cookie. But if I don't particularly feel like a brownie, I'm going to like it less. You really do have to be in the mood for a brownie. Cookies are always going to be good. You have to go with cookies.
Yeah.
Ultimately. But if I'm in the mood for a brownie, I'm going brownies all the way, yeah. I love brownies, dude. When I was in school, my mom used to make brownies every once in a while, and I'd come home from school, and them suckers would be coming, so white, by the way. Them suckers would be coming out of the oven.
Jesus.
Oh, nice, dude.
Really?
I'd have a brownie
That's
or
insane.
two. Yeah. Good times, man. Shout out to my mom, dude.
Dumb bitch, yeah.
Yeah. She's just a mom, dude. Most mom.
Yeah, that's crazy, actually.
She's mommed up,
Teddy,
dude,
you
yeah.
gotta stop pulling on my shirt.
Oh, he's meowing at you now, man.
Yeah, he's barking.
He's barking. So anyway, yeah, cookies, I think you just have to go with. Next, also from Steel Switch. Taking logistics and money out of the picture. Okay. If you were to host an extravagant soiree with the community, what would you do?
What is that?
Like a party.
Just call it a party.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't with you guys. But if I were to, ooh, man. God damn it, Teddy. I'm thinking like a big mansion in the Hamptons, big nice outdoor patio, a lot of light.
Try it.
See, and I wasn't even touching anything.
Yeah, now it's still fucked.
Is it?
You're good now.
Cool. Well,
We'll just
I'm
start
gonna
over
have
'cause
to.
we didn't hear anything.
I'm gonna have to change the cables or something. My hand wasn't even anywhere near it, and it went off.
I think it's a software thing.
DCP error is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Please update your firmware to the most recent, but I have the most recent, I think. Huh. Oh well.
Yeah, look up a firmware and app update after this.
Yeah.
And that'll probably fix it. But anyway, yeah.
A big ritzy party in the Hamptons at a big mansion, black tie event, black tie affair. Some dancing, some nice classical music, some people sitting there playing violins and shit. I want to experience that. Never experienced it, never will, Like, what is that? Fuck, what is that? It's a well-known book, and then it was a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby. Like that type of party. I would like to experience that one time. It's not my thing, but I'd like to experience it.
I would also like to experience it, but if I wanted to do a soiree, I would want to go with something tried and true. And my favorite vacations as a child, and I think this would be an excellent locale for a community event, would be also, of course, obviously, a big, giant fucking mansion. Huge, giant, awesome mansion in Newport Beach, California, on the sand. A fucking beachside mansion. That would be the best. Because, a soiree is usually like at night. If it's like a weekend, I would want it on the beach. Because then, if you're a beach type of person, you could go play volleyball, you can get in the water, you can walk around the boardwalk, the pier, and that shit's all fun. But if you're not a beach type of person, you're still in a mansion, and you can hang out, you can play beer pong out back, look at all the people on the beach, and you know, you got your shower, whatever.
Yeah.
Get drunk, hang out. You can get hammered and then just walk to the sand. Like, dude, I used to love, especially when I was older and my parents would stop going. Like, my brother and I, a couple times, would go in on a beach house ourselves for like a couple days. And it would just be me, Damien, and like a couple of our friends. And I must have been 22 or early 20s at this time. And you can imagine me, Michael, Gabe, early 20s, the kind of shit we would get up to. And we wouldn't be literally on the sand. We would be like 1 block down. So it's still like literally a 10-second walk to be on the sand. But we would just like wake up, get fucking hammered the whole day, and then walk to a burger spot, get a burger, walk to the sand, go play volleyball, get hammered, and go body surfing or go boogie boarding or something. So much fucking fun, dude. The best. The absolute best. And we weren't even in a mansion. We were in a little piece of shit that we could afford to rent for a couple days, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the best, dude. It's the best when you can walk to the beach and then insta home. You're insta home. When you're done, you're done. Because we've all gone to the beach and then you're done and you're like, you're tired from the swimming and the sun and you're like, that guy's barking. And you're sunburned and you're sandy. And then you have to fucking dust yourself off like an asshole, get in the car and drive home for 40 minutes or whatever. That shit sucks. Beach house? Nope. Oh, I'm done. Walk home. 10 seconds later, I'm in a shower. And then, or I'm in bed, or I'm taking shots. That's absolutely the best. That would be my play 1,000% of the time. That would be really fun. And not a lake, by the way. You river rat fucking trash people. Go to a coast once. The ocean's better. I'm not swimming in a lake. I'm not getting a property on the lake. I'm not looking at a lake. I'm not getting on a boat on a lake. There are better bodies of water. They're called the ocean. If there aren't waves, then buy a kiddie pool, child. If there aren't waves, go fill up a rubber tube with water, put your fucking floaties on, and swim in it, you child. If I'm getting in a body of water, I'm getting in a goddamn ocean like an adult with stingrays and waves and riptides and sharks and some danger. That's what I want. I'm not going to swim in a lake like a fucking asshole. So fuck you if you like lakes. It's all about the beach, baby. Go to the ocean. That simple. Anyways, that would be my
beach hater, huh?
solution. No, I'm a beach lover. I'm a lake hater. Fuck lakes. I hate lakes. They're so fucking stupid. It actually makes me so mad. Because I've been to a lake a couple times. One time, my uncle goes to some lake, Lake Bass, is what it's called. And I love this side of my family.
Oh, yeah, it's up by like Yosemite, I think.
Shout out to my Uncle Bobby. Shout out to my Aunt Celia. Shout out to Val and Kim. Great people. Alan, great. All of them. Love them. They're great people. But they really like to vacation at Lake Bass. And why? So one time, and I was a child, obviously. The only reason I went. Forced to go. So me, my mom, my brother, we go meet, and we're going camping at Lake Bass for a couple days. And I was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Swim in the lake. Okay. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. It's just a cold body of water with nothing to do there. Why not just go in a pool? I actually don't understand why I would swim in a lake when I could just go in a pool. Because there are a lot of pools a lot closer than Lake fucking Bass. And then you're camping
you go for the
like an
experience
asshole.
and like the views
Fuck
and
camping
stuff.
too. Sure. I sort of get that, but go to the ocean because there are views there too. But then there's also something fun to do in the water.
I would
hate
typically
lakes.
rather go around here. I'd rather go to a lake than the ocean because our oceans aren't nice. They're not pretty. People make you think, oh, California beaches, California oceans.
Newport
The water's
Beach sucks, dude. It's
disgusting.
kinda
It's
dirty
not.
now,
There's way too
actually.
many people. The water is not
There are too
clear.
many
It's
people.
disgusting, or it's full of our sewage. So our lakes aren't nice. Yeah. But I mean, if it's between that and going to like a lake or like the ocean somewhere like tropical or something, you know, that would be dope. But I don't know. I've never been a big beach guy. I prefer like the mountains and shit compared to the beach. The beach makes you feel all
And that's
gross
fine.
because the fucking
That's
sand, you feel sticky, disgusting.
Yeah.
There's no shade anywhere. You're sitting on the beach like an asshole. I don't know. I'm not typically a beach person. I can't tell you the last time I went
disagree with
swimming
you, but I
at one of our
respect-
local beaches. Fucking
Yeah.
years. High school, probably.
Yeah. I disagree with that opinion. I like the beach, but I respect that opinion and I understand it. I totally get why someone would like the mountains more than the beach. Totally get it.
Yeah.
But if someone likes a lake over the ocean, unsubscribe from this podcast because I don't get that. That doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Unless you're going fishing or something. Fine. Are you allowed to fish in the ocean? Do you like have to go super deep to do that?
No, that's why people fish straight off the pier. They're insane people,
well, I've seen
but
that, yeah.
yeah. They don't
I mean,
ever
like, on
they've
a
never
boat,
caught
though.
anything. I mean, you have to go. I think they
You do have to go
typically
pretty
they do
fucking far
go
out
pretty
there,
far
right?
out. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool, too. Have you ever gone deep sea fishing before?
No. See, I'd rather I think go fishing on a boat in a giant lake than go in the ocean.
I don't know if I have an opinion on that. I don't think it matters that much.
Oceans
at
are
that
too
point.
deep, man. You get lost out there, you're dead.
Scared, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like oceans.
It's a little more dangerous, but I think you're super safe in either situation. Michael's dad, they have a marlin, a stuffed marlin, hanging up in their
Really?
what's it called when you open the front door of a house? Foyer? Is that what that's called?
Sure. It's one word for something, yeah.
I think that's the word. But anyway, yeah, you open the front door, look up to the right, there's a fucking big marlin.
Damn.
And it's like he actually caught one deep sea fishing. And he like told me the story about it. And it's fucking crazy, dude. It takes you like 4 hours to catch a marlin. Did you know that?
Yeah, you can see that on some of those fishing shows. It'll take them, I think some of them it takes like 10 plus hours. Like what
Yeah.
Deadliest Catch or like Big Tuna or what is it? The one where they do like bluefin, it does take a long time to catch them.
I had no idea.
But I mean, they make fucking 50 grand for catching one.
Really?
I don't know how much exactly, but they're worth a lot of those.
Yeah, his dad told me the story and I was like so surprised. But when you think about it, it makes sense. I mean, I look at the fucking thing and I'm like, yeah, that thing is strong as shit. You're not going to just reel that in easily. Like, I get it once you like are told. But he was like, yeah, basically you have a fishing pole that's literally like buckled onto the side of your boat and you sit in a chair and like stand up and you like reel it in and then he fights you and then you like keep reeling. And then after hours, you finally get him up. And then he said like, you bring baseball bats to beat the fuck out of it once it's on the boat so that it stops flopping around.
I didn't know that. Wow.
I did. And I was like, damn, I feel bad for the marlin, dude. That's
Oh,
like
yeah, that thing
5
gets-
hours of
yeah.
struggle and then they beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Like a fucking,
That's messed up.
like Rodney King, but even longer.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't support that, obviously. But I felt bad. I was like, damn, that kind of sucks.
So
Kinda
bluefin, it
cringe.
says typically varies from $40 to $200 per pound.
Damn. Yeah. But people eat that. I don't know if people eat marlin.
Yeah, I don't
guess
know.
they
Do
do.
people-
They
I
eat
get- no, I don't
swordfish,
think-
right? Are marlin and swordfish the same thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, I feel bad about it.
No, they're not even technically related, even though they look very
Really?
similar.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, so he caught one of those two. I don't know which one. I think it's a marlin. But it's crazy, dude. Yeah. Anyway. So fuck lakes. Next is Base Esquire. Are there any mini games or games within the game that you think might be fun in Warzone? Examples of current or former minigames I could think of: the Gulag in general, the in-game community reveal events, or even trying to shoot someone out of air with a pistol after the initial jump. Surely the Dropshot can improve on this list. This is an interesting question. A little meta game that we would like. What are your thoughts, Dan?
I don't know if I could improve on that list. I honestly think like they already have them in the game, but the little things they do with like Caldera Clash, for what it is, Caldera Clash is a really good game mode. How there's like kind of little power-ups you can grab, but it still has all the core mechanics of Warzone, which is, plating system. You spawn in with your loadout guns. You can still pick up bounties and stuff like that. There's little, there's flags you can capture. Then there become zones that give you like double points and stuff. I think for what it is, Caldera Clash is like the best little side game mode they've ever added to Warzone. It's way more fun in my opinion than like Plunder and shit like that.
Warzone though, like Gulag or like a bounty would be a mini game.
Yeah. What could they do with that?
I'm kind of with you though. Like if you think about it, all contracts in Warzone are mini games, and I'm curious why you didn't use that as an example. But like doing a bounty is a mini game. It's like a meta game. It's a game within Warzone, the game. And those are good. I don't know if I could think of another one. And again, this kind of goes back to our first question. Right now, the focus needs to be on taking shit out, not adding in more mini games. Because even if you could add a cool mini game, like a special kind of recon or something, like that's great, but the game's still terrible right now. But if we thought about it for longer, I think we could think of like basically the question is like, what kind of new contract would you want added to Warzone? What would be cool? And I think bounties are like the best thing. So obviously you can't add that. But I wonder what else you could think of. You know what could be cool? A challenge contract. Kind of like they have in Zombies, actually. So imagine this. There's some contract icon they add, a new contract type. And it's like the challenge contract. And when you pick it up, they give you a challenge. And the reward scales based on how difficult the challenge you got was. So when you pick up the contract, one challenge could be you have 3 minutes to get 3 headshots on enemy players. And then if you complete it, you get like a pretty dope reward. Or another challenge could be like, get 1 team wipe. You have 3 minutes. I think a challenge contract like that could be cool based on what the challenges are. But I think that
like
would
that
be
team wipe
actually,
idea. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be a cool little contract type. Like different challenges. And it's kind of like they have in Zombies, where you go to that dumb little thing, you spend essence, and then they give you some random challenge. Kind of like that, but in Warzone. I think that would be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I would just put that low on their list of priorities. But yeah. Yeah. Or yeah, like get a down with equipment. Or like stun 3 people. I don't know.
That'd almost be kind of cool if there was like a contract you can do like that, and it gives you something random every time. Where it's like, yeah, get a kill in the next 3 minutes with a with a lethal, get like a squad wipe on a team or something. That could be really cool, and you can get like really strong bonuses for it too. Because you don't know what it's going to get. It's kind of like one of those risk reward things.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That would be cool. That would be my guess. Jaximus asks, since devs can't design maps anymore, do you think a custom map builder like Halo 4's mode would work in a COD game? I believe we've answered this. I believe Jax asked this in Patreon Q&A.
I don't remember what we said, but they'll never add map editor back. It'd be cool to have, but like no one would make like that good of maps anyways. Well, people would.
And even if they would, they wouldn't add them to the game. Yeah. So I don't really care.
I would like to have customizable shit like that, but we just want to see it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next, Steel Switch. If you have to choose one of these to be removed from Warzone, which would it be? Number 1, all methods of fast travel. Balloons, all vehicles, and planes, that's a vehicle. That would include, obviously, the fast travel bunker shit we have now. 2, the gulag and all methods of respawn. Once you die, you stay dead. 3, buy stations. So if you had to remove one from Warzone, which would it be? If you don't know Tanner's answer to this, you're a new listener.
Well, I think my answer is 1 because the immediate fast travel system that we have now,
I'm a new listener,
ruins the game, and then also the planes ruins the game. But the gulag shouldn't be in the game, period, I don't think. Yeah, I think the game, you need to be able to come back and respawn, but you shouldn't be able to do it as easy as you can in this game, because there doesn't need to be a fine line between, like, PUBG gets boring. If you die early on, you're just like, all right, well, I'm sitting here for 20 minutes and you do nothing. So I get why they do the things they do, because again, Call of Duty is ultimately a very casual shooter and they want people to play as much as possible, but they either need to pick one. It needs to be like, you can only gulag and then you can be bought back for a higher price than what we have now, or just fucking remove the gulag and keep the extraction tokens in, or something else. I don't know, like you had to do in Fortnite, where it's like you had to go somewhere to extract them back and it took like 60 seconds to get them back after you like pick something up, and you had like a set timer to do it in. Some sort of system like that. I just don't think we need a gulag tokens, extraction tokens, buy people back for 3,000, fire sales where you get your teammates back for free. What's the event called when it drops everyone? When everyone comes back into the game.
Oh no, what is that called? I haven't seen one in a
while. What are they called? One of them just happened in the World Series of Warzone. Jailbreak. No, that's rare, but it's just there's so many ways to come back to the game right now. Way too many. They need to have it be like one of those things, and that's it. If you want the gulag, just leave it as the gulag, and then you can buy teammates back for like 5,000 or something. I don't know. But there's just entirely too much right now.
Even if, so my answer, so we can go through these. All methods of fast travel, you can't take out vehicles, balloons, and the fast travel on Caldera. You just can't. The game would be so fucking bad if you did that. So I would not go with that. And then buy stations, of course you don't remove fucking buy stations. I mean, that is crazy. So you just have to go to your free loadout if you want one.
Yeah,
and then if you all pick it up, you're just fucked. Like, there's no chance I would go with that.
Yep.
So then, by default, I would say the gulag and all methods of respawn I would take out. I wouldn't want that, but that's better than the other two options, in my opinion, especially on Caldera.
My main thing for saying 1 is I don't want planes and I don't want the fast travel system we have right now.
I agree.
Balloons need to be in, though, because the way the map is designed. If we had a map that wasn't designed with so much elevation, we wouldn't need the balloons ever. But they added them in because the map wasn't flowing well without them. It took forever to get around.
For sure. So I wouldn't want to do any of these. I wouldn't want to completely remove any of these options, but if I had to pick one, it would be respawn for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only part that I don't agree with, is once you die, you stay dead. It's Call of Duty. You need to be able to come back some way.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if I wouldn't want that, I recognize this is a casual game and they need to allow people to come back. Exactly. And I would want some ability to. Okay, last question here. Kangry. Kind of like that name. Asks, thoughts on console players wanting to play on keyboard and mouse? Should they just stick to controller?
I haven't tried it, but I think you should just stick to controller and get that aim assist, especially when you're on that low field of view that console has. You also get insane input delay from what I've heard playing on KBAM on console. Some people do it. Some people in our Discord do it. I don't think I'd recommend it. But if you're like planning on buying a PC and like you want to get a head start, want to start practicing and stuff, it's a good way to practice, I guess. But it's like ultimately I would not do that for a long time. That does not. I want to experience it actually and see how bad the input delay is. Maybe it's not as noticeable as people are saying. Maybe it's there, like the latency is there, but it's not something that's typically noticeable, but I feel like it is. I feel like it's probably like playing a game on like low frames. When you drag your mouse over, it does not feel fluid, and it's got like a delay.
It could feel like input lag, but it's actually just the dog shit 60 hertz.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Of the console. Because that's going to feel exactly the same. As it kind of is input lag in a sense. Like your character's moving, but you can't see it because you're playing at 60 hertz.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. If you're playing on console, unless you're like switching to PC soon, consoles aren't built for keyboard and mouse. So there probably is input lag, even outside of the lower refresh rate, making you think that. And I've never done it. I never would. I just don't. I mean, if you're not playing with a controller on console, you have none of the advantages of anything. Console's worse than PC, and keyboard and mouse is worse than controller.
Yeah.
If you're playing on console and keyboard and mouse, it's like, I mean, you're just handicapping yourself so massively that it just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at.
Yeah,
You're getting no benefits out of doing that, really.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. And like, if you only play K-BAM on console and you've like never been a controller player, I wouldn't say you should like switch what input you play on because it's a video game and it doesn't matter. But if you're thinking of switching from controller, which you're comfortable on, to K-BAM on console, I would say don't do that. That doesn't make sense. Just wait until you're going to buy a PC. And then if you like ordered one and you want to practice for a couple of weeks beforehand, sure. But I wouldn't like main this. No, definitely not.
Agreed.
So. All right. That's it. We'll be back next week. Keep your eyes on the Twitter at the Dropshot Pod. Schedule might be a little weird next week. And we're going to have some special episodes next week. We have a special guest next week.
There's a guest. Pod. They're not special. They're a guest.
We have a guest. And then we have, I think, a special event planned next weekend. So keep your eyes on the Twitter. We'll be posting about that. Go to thedropshot.com. You can find links to all of our things, including our Patreon, patreon.com/thedropshot. Ad-free episodes, early access to those episodes, and bonus episodes, also without ads. And even more benefits, all starting at the low, low price of $5 United States dollars per month. Patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the program. Get those things ad-free, early, get bonus extra eps, all kinds of fun, delicious items. And we appreciate your consideration. Thank you all for watching and listening. Have an excellent evening, of course, and stay humble. Stay humble.
Stay humble.